Good morning. This is Anointed Ministries, and yesterday for January the 25th, the reading was in on July the 23rd. If you look at July the 23rd video, you will open it up and you will see 25th, 26th, and 27th, what you're supposed to read. Okay, now, but I'm going to say it again for the 25th, just in case you can't get it open. 2 Chronicles CR chapter 14, Roman numerals, semicolon 1 through 16, semicolon 14. Again, Roman numeral CHR chapter 14, semicolon verse 1 through 16, semicolon verse 14. And you'll read that in the evening. Romans ROM chapter 9, semicolon verse 1 through 24. You'll read that in the afternoon. PS chapter 19, semicolon verse 1 through 14. You'll be writing this in your notebook. Write PROV chapter 20, semicolon verse 1. And you should have a notebook. Our scripture for the day was Romans 15:4, and it was given to us by Kim Montgomery. And I will note that in there also. When you look in there, it'll say the 25th and what we're supposed to read for the 25th. Our topics will be for whatever, things written, for learning, patience, and comfort, and scriptures, and hope. Our song of the day was Do Not Pass Me by any artist. Our praise songs that we praised yesterday was Is Working by William Murphy, his whole album. Tasha Cobbs, her whole album. Deitrick Haddon, and his whole album, and his old album. I have to come back and tell you the name of that. What we'll read, what we're supposed to write in our notebook for the 26th. So you'll write 26 study notes / prayer requests. And this morning I had problems. I had to delete some. Uploads so that I can make room for new stuff. So I have to go back in and delete some more stuff before I get stuck again. But it wouldn't open up because of that. So now for the 26th, you'll read 2 Chronicles CHR chapter 17, semicolon through chapter 18, semicolon verse 34 in the evening. For Romans, you'll read ROM chapter 9, verse 25 through chapter 10, verse 13 in the afternoon. For Psalms, you read you'll write PS chapter 20, semicolon verse 1 through 9, and it's in the morning. And then PROV for Proverbs, chapter 20, semicolon verse 2 through 3. You'll read that in the morning. And we're going to break the scripture down for yesterday and for today. So let's go and show you what you're supposed to read for tomorrow. Because I got it written all the way up until the 31st, Okay, in Shamel, it'll be my niece Shamel's birthday. We're going to wish her happy birthday on that day. But tomorrow's the 27th. So for tomorrow, for the 27th of July, you'll read Roman numeral 2, CHR chapter 19, semicolon verse 1 through 20, through chapter 20 through 37 in the evening. In the morning, you'll read ROM afternoon, and chapter 10, semicolon verse 14 through chapter 11, semicolon verse 12. You'll read Psalms PS chapter 21, semicolon verse 1 through 13 in the morning. Prov period, chapter 20, semicolon, verse 4 through 6. Okay? That's for July the 27th. And I'll type that in there. So everything will be in there on the 26th. Today is the 26th. So on the 26th, it'll have what you're supposed to read for the 25th. It'll have what you're supposed to read for the 26th, 27th, 28th. On the 28th of July, you're supposed to read 2 Chronicles, CHR period, chapter 21, semicolon, verse 1, through chapter 23, semicolon, verse 21, in the evening. Romans, ROM period, chapter 11, semicolon, verse 13 through 36. Psalms, PS period, chapter 22, semicolon, verse 1 through 18, in the morning. Proverbs, Prov period, chapter 20, semicolon, verse 7, in the morning. That's for the 28th. So that's what you read for the 28th. And then I'll type it in there. And then for the 29th, you'll read semicolon, CHR period, chapter 24, semicolon, verse 1 through chapter 25, semicolon, verse 28 in the evening. You'll read Romans, ROM period, chapter 12, semicolon, verse 1 through 21. You're going to love that one. For Psalms, you'll read PS period, chapter 22, semicolon, verse 19 through verse 31. So that's evening, afternoon, morning, and morning. And then Proverbs, Prov period, chapter 20, semicolon, verse 8 through 10. Okay. July the 30th. On July the 30th, you'll read 2 Chronicles, period, chapter 26, semicolon, verse 1 through 28, semicolon, verse 27. And like I said, don't worry about it because I'm going to type it in there. And then you just click on the date and then go down to description. On the 26th, click on what the title is, and then click on description, and it'll show all what you're supposed to read all the way up to the 31st. Because I'm going to type it in there. Okay, Romans, ROM period, chapter 13, semicolon, verse 1 through 14. That will be in the afternoon. Psalms, PS period, chapter 23, semicolon, verse 1 through 6. That will be in the morning. Proverbs, Prov period, chapter 20, semicolon, verse 11. That will be in the morning. That's on the 30th. So take a look at that. That's for the 30th. For the 30th of July. Okay. Then that's for the 31st. You'll read 2 Chronicles, CHR period, 29 semicolon, verse 1 through 36 in the evening. For the 31st, you'll read Romans, ROM period, and then you'll write this in your notebook for each day. Chapter 14, semicolon, verse 1 through 23, and that'll be for the afternoon. Psalms, PS period, chapter 24, semicolon, verse 1 through 10 in the morning. Proverbs, Prov period, chapter 20, semicolon, verse 12 in the morning. Okay, now we're going to break our scripture down. And there's our map. I finished the map. And we're gonna talk about some different cities for the map. And this is called Maps Ministry. And this is for our children can do this. The adults, you can teach your children how to do maps on places in the Bible. And we'll do that too. Then I wrote down all the cities and things that happen in those cities. Okay, so we're breaking down our scripture. We are breaking down our scripture. Hold on. What did I do with that thing that I broke down? Not for today. We're breaking down the scripture for the 25th. Okay, I put it on another page. Hold on a second. Okay. The scripture we're breaking down is Romans 15:4, what Kim gave us. I do it I'm using the King James Version. And so we're using whatever. We're using whatever. And the scripture that I found was Philippians 4:8. So let's go to Philippians 4:8. Philippians 4:8. Philippians chapter 4. Okay, now this is the NIV. I'm sorry. One Bible I use is the NIV, and the other one I use is the King James. I don't like using this because it's too little. Okay, so finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Then also verse 9, whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with you. Okay, so use 8 and 9 on that one. Philippians 4:8 and 9. And you're supposed to be breaking them down on your own. So for the 26, you're going to have to break it down on your own. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to break mine down, what I've done. So you go into, this is going to be, the title is going to be whatever, whoever, whomsoever loves God. Okay? The title of it is going to be whatever, whoever, whomsoever loves God. Okay? So, another scripture that we're going to break it down some more. And so it says, finally, we're going to break down brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters. There's whatever again. We're going to true. Whatever again. Noble. Hold on. Whatever is right. Hold on 1 second. Pure. Lovely. Admirable. Excellent. Praiseworthy. Think. Then go to verse 9 and do whatever learned, received, heard, practice, and God of peace will be with you. Look up and too. Okay, now. So now let's look back at, we'll see what we did. We got whatever. We're going to have a topic on whatever, noble, whatever, pure, lovely, right, admirable, excellent, praiseworthy, think, whatever, learned, heard, practice, God of peace, and will be with you. Okay, so you'll have part 1 from Philippians 4:8. That's what you'll have for part 1. This will be whatever. The title is whatever, whoever, whomsoever loves God. And this is part 1. Okay. And then you can go into part 2 and go in and find some scriptures on brothers and sisters. And that one will be Psalm 133 and 1. And if we go back, let's go back there right now. Put our bookmark there. Put a bookmark there. Then we're going to go to Psalm 133 and 1. Or you can use any scripture there. Any scripture. I'm just showing you how to match them up. Okay. So Psalm 133 and 1. It says, "How good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity." But if you look at the King James, I think it says how good it is for brothers and sisters or whatever to live together in unity. Okay, so Psalm 133 and 1. So we got Philippians 4 and 8 and 9, and then we got Psalm 133 and 1. Okay? Then we had started talking something, so we finished with that. Then we had started talking about our places in the Bible. Here's our map, and this is called map ministry. So you'll go and you'll find a city and start talking about it. Okay, so like Joppa was where Jonah was supposed to go. And he was supposed to go to Nineveh to preach. God told him to go to Nineveh to preach. But he went to Joppa. He went down to Joppa and started partying and everything. But that's not where God told him to go. So we always need to do what God tells us to do. Jericho. The story of Jericho. Joshua fought the battle at Jericho. And he won. And if you read that story, you will see he marched around the city. I think it was 7 times, and the walls came down. A story that was in Jerusalem or Bethlehem. Jesus was born in Bethlehem, Jerusalem. And he and Mary went back and forth. And Jesus preached in that city. Okay? There's a story about Moab. There's a story about the Jordan River, Sea of Galilee. And so we'll go into, that's the stories that we told today. But we'll go into each city, and we're going to tell a story about it. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to go into each city and get some information on it so that we can do maps ministry. And I'm going to tell you another story right quick. The Red Sea. Moses and his army was fleeing from the Philistines, from the Israelites, and they got to the Red Sea. Moses and his men were able to travel over. God opened the sea up. That was the best miracle I ever seen in all my life, when God opened up that Red Sea and let them pass through. And that's the same thing that he'll do for us. So that's why you don't want to be against a person who's in the Lord, because God is very powerful and God will be on their side, especially if they're living according to where God says to live. Okay, then Moses, he went up to Mount Sinai. He climbed up the mountain and went up to Mount Sinai. And that's where he got the 10 Commandments from. Okay? All right, so the Nile River. There are stories about the Nile River, Egypt. Okay? So I want you to go into the babies, children, and adults, young adults and everything. I want you to go into Turkey and Greece and all those cities and find a story, a simple story that matches each one of them. And then that way you can do maps ministry. So, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna break the scripture down for July the 26th, because today is the 26th. So I'm gonna break the scripture down for July the 26th. And then I just showed you how to do MAPS ministry. Okay, so I'm gonna break the scripture down for July the 26th. Let me see which one we're gonna break down. Because we're gonna go back into 2nd Chronicles. So what I'm doing is I just keep going back through each one of them. We're gonna break a little bit of it down, and you're gonna do the rest of it on your own. You're gonna practice doing it on your own. Okay, so we're gonna break that down when I come back. We're going to find some more cities to tell stories about. So far we told cities about the Red Sea. So I'm going to go to my paper. I wrote all the cities down, and you can write them all down too. Turkey, Greece, Italy, Egypt. So far we did a story about Mount Sinai, the Red Sea. I told you about Damascus, but I can tell you, I don't think my tape got in there. Saul was on the road to Damascus, and God shined the light on him and changed him at that moment and made him be Paul. That's the story about on the road to Damascus. Okay, Nineveh was Jonah, the story of Jonah. Joppa was the story of Jonah. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. I want you to write down these cities: Turkey, Greece, Italy, Mediterranean Sea, and tell me what happened there. A simple story, not nothing long. And it could be anything, and as long as it's pertaining to something that happened, a story that you know about that happened in today's time that it happened. Okay, and then Israel, Shiloh, Jericho, and this is called MAPS ministry. MAPS ministry. And all ministers, a lot of ministers know how to do it. So this is called MAPS ministry. So your child will know how to do MAPS ministry. But you can do it on an adult level too. But this is for children. So you'll have to tell your child a story that goes along with, look it up. And then I drew it in, and then I didn't color it yet because it's supposed to be yellow and green. Yellow and green. Okay, so God bless you and good luck with your MAPS ministry. Good luck with breaking your scripture down for the 26th. And I will see you in a little bit. And I'm sorry that the computer got stuck. The computer got stuck, but that happens when you put stuff on YouTube. The uploads will get stuck because you need to go back and make room in there. So I needed to go in there and make room, and that's what I did. So I'll be back. So God bless you, and may God keep you, and may you be able to break your scriptures down. Maybe you be able to find stories on MAPS ministry. And we're on the 26th, and I'm gonna type it in there, and everything will be in on the 26th, what you're supposed to read all the way up to July the 30th. And God bless you, and I love you.